the quick fix solution culture and or immediate gratification society that we live in. Very interesting thing these days that I see with individuals, maybe perhaps in their mid to late 20s. Sometimes, yeah, obviously teenagers can speak examples of their behaviors that speak to those issues I mentioned about immediate gratification, the quick fix solutions, right, to said problems. So we live in a world that's a lot different than when I grew up, right? I grew up and I witnessed the evolution of video games, things like that. I'm almost 53 years old. So when I grew up, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no social media, there's less mediums, if you will, or contexts in which there's seeking of immediate gratification or simple quick fix solutions, if you will. So I deal with individuals that are young adults that perhaps may have a chronic cannabis use problem. They smoke cannabis daily. They may have been playing video games since they were an adolescent throughout their life. And they will pretty much have a way of internalizing themselves in context with stress, anxiety, and things that are part of their world and life and day to day. So an individual may be rationalizing, for example, reasons to not change a behavior like a chronic cannabis addiction or habit. And they will say something to the effect, well, cannabis is the only thing that works for me to not feel angry or feel frustrated or basically not feel anything, right? Yeah, I don't want to, I get angry at something real easy, no patience, right? No patience at all. So the truth is, whether it's cannabis, illicit drugs, legal or not, or something specifically prescribed by a doctor, there's always going to be an element and percentage that's going to be required where you have to be willing to put the work in to manage and regulate your own emotions and feelings and to have a reasonable amount of emotional intelligence, if you want to use that way of speaking about it. This is also a component of what's going to help to regulate mood, anxiety, irritability, mood disturbance issues. So this is something that a drug will not do for you. You're going to have to put the work in to learn to understand the purpose and utility of emotions and feelings. Emotions and feelings, as I say a lot, are similar to anxiety in this context. Anxiety is a natural psychic energy, if you want to call it that when we feel anxious, it's because we perceive a potential threat in the future. So that anxiety motivates us into action. It influences our behaviors to help reduce and or prevent potential problems. So this is a good thing. The goal is not to get rid of anxiety, by the way. It's to manage it, because having no anxiety at all could be worse. It can make us more susceptible to threats and make us more vulnerable, less responsible, if you will. With this particular anxiety I'm speaking about, there's other types of anxieties in other contexts, but this reality-based anxiety based on real perceived threats. Now, emotions are similar, and here's how. They're similar in that they can influence our behavior for sure, and how we're intentional things or maybe not intentional things. So emotions, though, are more specialized, specific messages to ourselves, and to the extent if we share how we feel about things with other people, our emotions and feelings, it's information we provide to them that will help define a relationship within a context, right? Because they were providing information. So emotions have implications. So for example, if I feel guilty, the implication is I have done something wrong. If I feel inadequate, the implication is I am not good enough. If I feel disrespected, if I feel embarrassed, if I feel undermined, you get the idea. A lot of feelings, emotions. Some are positive ones too. I feel valued. I feel appreciated. So they have different messages or implications to us that then compel how we are internalizing ourselves in contrast to things around us. And then, yeah, it compels or influences our decisions and how we position ourselves, modify our behavior, and or behave within a context. So this is something we need to understand and to have a healthy relationship with this, because this is significant in your life. You will either be significantly undermined and be like a person lost at sea with a blindfold on, and even if you didn't have the blindfold on, you would have no compass, no sail. You're just floating around in life. You're at the mercy and whim, pretty much, of whatever direction. However, when you understand emotions and feelings, and when they are based on a rational interpretation, it's important to then consider them, to sit with them, and then compel you as far as how you make decisions in life. It is a compass. It helps you navigate the world. Your feelings, emotions are there to help provide direction. So a drug is not going to teach you how to do this. It's not going to happen. A drug's not going to help you with that, like getting stoned and high. It's going to do the opposite. It's going to undermine your ability to have this relationship, the healthy one, with emotions and feelings. So you may have heard the term in psychology, for some of y'all who have a background in psychology, blunted affect, right? What about flat affect? That's even like extreme. So a blunted affect is, your ability to have congruency to emotional responses to situations is a bit dulled, right? That's why we say if I'm getting faded or stoned, you're fading out your ability to experience emotions in their full capacity. So this is not a good thing, because you're not allowing your emotions to serve a purpose, right? And then to learn how to respond to emotions and feelings, including anger. We're going to feel angry sometimes. Anger is a secondary emotion in response to a primary feeling. So I may feel frustrated. What if I feel undermined? What if I feel disrespected? Yeah, probably going to feel angry too. So being able to understand what we are angry about, what are we feeling something about in a context, understand it. What's the best thing to do? How do I respond? Right. So this is important. Getting high, getting stoned, getting drunk, buzzed, whatever word works for you, right? Mood altering, psychoactive type of drugs. This is not going to help you it's not a healthy coping mechanism, if you will, right? So individuals who say the only thing that really helps me is smoking cannabis, right? Never mind the withdrawal that happens when the acute withdrawal you go into, and then protracted withdrawal can happen with people who go longer periods without cannabis. Those withdrawal side effects are going to mimic irritability, more anxiety, and other issues going on. In this context, this is really a function of withdrawal causing these situations with the unpleasant experiences, more so than you having an anxiety disorder or I smoke the cannabis and look, it works, I'm calm again. No, you're no longer in withdrawal anymore. That's what's happening. That's a tolerance withdrawal issue. So the insight here is for individuals who have chronic cannabis problems, for using the example of a cannabis issue, is to come off of cannabis completely and go through the post-acute withdrawal syndrome, to be willing to be temporarily a bit uncomfortable and have a way and a plan to cope through getting through that temporary period in order to then have better mood regulation, feel less anxious, and so on, improve sleep, etc. Yeah, cannabis suppresses REM cycle sleep. That's another video of mine about cannabis, the most underestimated drug, right? So you get the idea. This idea of immediate gratification, quick fix solution, right? I think, in my opinion, part of why we see people caught up in addiction or unhealthy behaviors and habits, there's other things for sure that are part of this, physiological processes, cognitive stuff going on, a way of thinking that kind of maintains the unhealthy behaviors, and then just lifestyle, right? Other things going on, fulfillment of needs, right? A lot of stuff going on. But part of it is if I'm not willing to put any work into my life to have adaptive skills, to learn that, hey, feelings and emotions it's not a bad thing. Just like not all anxiety is bad for us. Even negative, if you want to say negative feelings and emotions, when based on facts and a rational interpretation of a situation, they serve a purpose too. Because part of understanding who you are, what your values are, is a process of experiencing both positive feelings and negative feelings. Because those negative feelings sometimes are going to define situations for you when you feel uncomfortable with something that's telling you something. So I think you get the idea. There's a lot of things I can speak to on this topic, but we have to be willing to put the work in. There is no quick fix for a sustainable long-term solution to have good mental health, mood regulation, manage your anxiety, be intentional, have the balance, have energy, be present with people in your life. Because simply leaning on drugs like a crutch, because that's what it is, it's a crutch, it's a unhealthy coping mechanism. It's not sustainable in terms of any real solution to solve problems in your life. It's just you're limping along through life. You're undermining your full potential. So my name's James Hunter. I make topics on a variety of videos of mental health, wellness, addiction issues, and other topics in general sometimes that I might just be of particular interest within these type of within the realm of things that I like to speak about or discuss on this channel. So if you appreciate or are interested in topics like this one today or related and similar, please check out my channel, subscribe, click that notification button. So when I put content out, you'll be notified. And I hope everybody has a good Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whichever particular holiday you might be celebrating this weekend, if any at all. Right? For some people, today's Saturday and Monday's Monday. Right? I get it. So hope everybody has a good weekend. Thank you and take care.